Hi, I am RAUL ROA Estilista.
Let's see what brushing for short hair. We start at the back of the head, combing the hair towards the front. In the area of the nape, we will use hair clips. The wick that we are going to brush, that is not too thick. The thinner the wick, it fits us better, it will give us a more natural volume. We also use a thermal brush, not very thick. Because, in this area, if we use a very thick brush, what you are going to do is give too much volume, and the hair will be without a defined shape. That's why we are going to use this type of thermal brush. The thermal brush aids in distribution of hot air from the dryer evenly. And besides that, it helps me mold at the same time the hair. What we do is move the brush, rotate the brush with our fingers, and we are placing the dryer parallel to my client's scalp, so as not to burn his neck. The temperature level is also very important. We are working a medium temperature, because the very high temperature, when the dryer is very hot, what it does is the opposite, it will reduce volume. We continue selecting wick to brush, and obviously we support each other with the tweezers, always starting in the central part. This also allows me to organize the way of working. It becomes a habit, and obviously going to have more performance in the process. Do not stop rotating the brush will always be rotating. This also helps me to give shine to the hair that is combed. Constant rotation of the brush and friction against the hair is what will give us shine in the end to the hair. How can you always see the dryer is directed parallel to the direction of the scalp? No, totally perpendicular or facing the scalp, because obviously we are going to burn our client, and it's going to be supremely annoying. Not too far, let the heat from the dryer reach us, and obviously brings heat to our body. It is normal that at the beginning that you get very red when you are learning to comb, because what we are is looking at, it is like graduating that heat that the hair reaches, and do not reach the scalp and burn it, but not direct it towards us and warm us a lot. We are also adapting the wicks that we are sectioning to the curvature of the skull and to the shape of the cut. In this case, we are working a bit diagonally to achieve better hair positioning. We must also adapt the position of the brush, the position of the sections, the hair dryer to our client's head position. Today, all our clients, they are always looking at their cell phone, and we must provide a service as comfortable as possible. If I can incorporate my client's head, because sometimes his head is thrown forward, I can incorporate her head very gently with my hands, and obviously she will understand that she has her head very low. Of course, we will do it in a soft, calm, and elegant way, so that she does not feel that it is something that annoys us, or that suddenly it is very uncomfortable. We have to adapt to that new way of working. We must learn to adapt. The best way to learn to brush is to practice, and practice a lot. Do not fill yourself with many brushes, because sometimes we have so many brushes, and we use 2 or 3, no more. And that's why I don't see it as necessary. As long as you find a brush model that adapts to your hand and the way you work, why not use it? And be open to trying other tool options, because sometimes we deprive ourselves of knowing something that is much better than what we already have. In this area, we have already started to work with upward movements to achieve a greater volume in that area. Brushing in a short haircut, it is characterized by having volume in the crown area and on the top back of the head. Make sure very well that the wick that we have brushed has been very well. If necessary, we go back and retouch, which is sometimes good, because we remove all residual moisture from the hair, and we brush it again. That's an excellent exercise, because the hair does not return to its natural state. But we will not take the wick with a wick that we have already brushed before. because the result will not be pretty. It is too uniform. And the idea is that we achieve a slightly disheveled hairstyle. Very important to follow the natural movement of the hair and the shape that we have given to the cut. On the side, if we take a thicker wick to reduce volume. But we continue working with the thermal brush, but with downward movements. As we can see, it has not given volume. But on the contrary, we comb the hair in this area downwards to achieve a natural volume. In the upper zone, if we are going to give a lot of volume. And for that, we are going to work with each of the strands of hair with upward movements. I will always work with upward movements. Don't worry if the client says, I don't like it with a lot of volume on top. No problem, later you can reduce the volume, because if you comb the hair without volume, and the client tells you, I want the hair with more volume on top, it will be very difficult after the hair is already dry. So yes, it is very important that at the top of the head, let's do the hairstyling with a lot of volume. And then in the finish, if you like, and if the client wants it, she can lower the volume. In this area, I will begin to section wicks diagonally, because what I want is to comb it sideways. So I keep the same lifting procedure, but with the wick of hair in a diagonal arrangement. That will allow me to give the client's hairstyle a movement to this side where I'm brushing the hair with a natural finish. At the top, continue selecting horizontally. But I'm going to bring the wick to comb to the front with upward movements. Forward and upward, repeating several times. That will also allow that the hair give me a better movement. And then when he finished it, he combed it back. In the area of the pompadour, that is a triangle. That more or less take the top, center, and front. We will work with diagonal sections. The order of sectioning of the wicks does not matter. We can start working from the front. Right or left, no problem. I almost always start working from the front, because it is more comfortable for me. And with movements towards me, I am bringing each of the wicks independently and slightly diagonally, and I continue to turn. This allows me the hair to go to the right side, but also that it falls a little towards the front. So give me a move. Very nice, that we are going to be able to see. It is a technique that I have used for many years. I think since I started. And it works well for me when I'm combing the hair on the side. Regardless of hair length. It can be short or it can be very long. Or in layers, we will always keep this movement. Very important that each wick is well brushed and independently. That guarantees me that the movement looks nice, and so it is until it ends. Then what I do is unify each of the section wick. And the result is ready. Now, this is the part I like the most. As the hair is warm, because we just brushed it, we are going to place the dryer in cold air. And we direct the hair with your fingers, so that the hair is with volume and with a very natural movement. Now, with a wide tooth comb, what I'm going to do is style the hair. I mold it to style it so that it fits the hairstyle with open sections, with the wicks totally separated, because that's the way we brush it. And it will give me a very natural effect. And the movement is very beautiful. How can we appreciate it?